A good campaign message will win an election. Why do I say that? Why is it that some candidates spend a fortune and lose, and some candidates who are hopelessly outspent win? The answer is because the one who was outspent had a better campaign message. If you have questions about how you can develop a great campaign message, you are in the right place, because I have a lot to share. Stick with me, because I'm going to tell you how to create a great campaign message. At its core, your campaign message is your answers to questions voters will expect you to answer during the course of a campaign. I'm going to take you through each one, tell you what they are, and give you a few tips on how you answer them. The very first one we're going to talk about is what we call your why. Number one, what are you going to do for the voters? The question they have for you is, what are you going to do for me? Let's talk about your answer to that. All voters have problems. All voters have a set of values, and their view of the world is there are some things about this world that are right and some things that are wrong. There are some things about this world that are an injustice, and sometimes justice is served. They will always believe that there are things political candidates can do that will improve their quality of life. So, in answering this question for voters, what are you going to do for me? Those should form your answer. Now, what are you going to do for the voters in your jurisdiction? What is it that's on their minds? What problems seem preeminent in the jurisdiction where you're running? What are your own ideas about what you could do to improve their quality of life? What are you going to do with the power if the voters give it to you that will make a positive change in the way they live? Here's the bottom line. If you have no idea how to do that, you will never have a coherent campaign message. So this is kind of like the first among equals of your campaign message. It's something that you need to figure out at the get-go, because if you're not talking to voters on their terms, you are totally irrelevant to the voters. Let me give you a little secret, is we're talking about things that you're going to do for voters, and problems you're going to solve, and things you're going to correct, and quality of life you're going to improve. There's something I know about you here. There's something deep inside you that makes you interested in watching a video like this. Somewhere along the line, you've been bitten by a political bug. I don't know what it was, but I can tell you that you weren't born wanting to do this. Something has happened on your journey, something you experienced or heard or saw that made you passionate about seeking power so that you can make a difference. If you can figure out that why, what it was that really is fueling your motivation for doing this, you will make the campaign a lot easier on yourself. Because if you can understand what's in your soul, if you can understand what's in your why, any obstacle that you encounter on your path to victory will seem like just a little thing that's a bad day. It will be a molehill, not a mountain. You will easily endure the brickbats that come from political combat, because you are so motivated by something deep inside of you that no obstacle can stop you. This is the way candidates win elections they're supposed to lose. It's because of that deep passion inside of them. If you can figure out what yours is, it's one of the keys to your own success. Number two question that voters will have for you is, how do I know your moral code and your values are in sync with mine? You need to tell them that, because if they somehow get the notion that your values are out of sync with theirs, that's a disqualification. So how do you answer that question? What are your notions of good and evil? What are your notions of fair and unfair? What are your notions of what is an injustice and when justice is served? What are your notions about religion and God in the place of mankind in this universe? What are your notions about the role of government and the purpose it should serve? Do you believe the government should help people who need a hand up, or do you believe that most government is evil and it would be better off if we had a lot less of it? Those are an expression of your values, and the reason during the course of a campaign that voters want you to answer that question about your values is it is their way of knowing that when they're not looking, they can trust you to make decisions that are right for them based upon your own moral code that is in sync with their moral code. Oh, incidentally, I'm going to mention this in passing. If you're thinking about running for office, you need to get ready for a campaign. I got a free book for you that will help you on your journey. It's called 12 Essential Steps to Getting Ready for a Political Campaign. It's the link. The link is underneath this video. Click on it, download it, read it. The third question that voters expect you to answer is what makes you qualified. That doesn't mean they want to hear your entire journey or every position you have ever held, every degree you've ever earned, every club that you've belonged to. What they're looking for is essentially can you give me a few things about yourself that lets me know that your head is on straight, that you know how to handle responsibility, that you have done something useful in your life and capable of doing the job you are asking voters to give you. Now, here are some examples. If you've earned a degree, that's a qualification. If you've held a position at your company or you've ever received a promotion or an honor at work, that's a qualification. Have you written a book? Do you have a YouTube channel? Have you belonged to a civic or community organization where you've actually helped people who need a hand up? Voters consider all of those qualifications for office. They need to know just enough that you got your feet on the ground and that you can handle responsibility. Question number 4 that voters will have for you is, how do I know I can trust you? What can you tell them that lets them know that your heart is in the right place and that you are going to do the things that you're promising to do if you get the power to do it? And I'll give you an example of this. I was once in a call with someone in Alabama. I got to this question. I just said, what's your why? Why are you doing this? And she says, everything I'm about, Jay, goes back to those years I spent in my early age in Sunday school. Oh man, at the Sunday school where I went, boy, we really tore into the lessons. We dissected the 10 Commandments and what they mean. And the one that meant the most to me was treat thy neighbor as thyself. I don't know why it was, Jay, that hit me like a ton of bricks when I heard that, because I went home thinking about that. And you know what? I came to believe it. It is at my core. I believe that government should help people who need a hand up. That if we see people are hungry, we need to help them get food. That if we see people who are homeless, that we need to find a way to get them a place to live, a warm place to live. If we see people who are in need and down on their luck, who need a hand up to get going again, that is the responsibility of government. Now, the people I hope to represent, a lot of them are down on their luck and they need a hand up. They are the reason I am running to represent a lot of people who need a hand up. At my core, that is what this campaign is all about. I watched her tell that story to an audience a few weeks later, and everybody in that audience understood. Yeah, they got it. They could trust her to do the right thing when they weren't looking, because they knew she was grounded in that belief and they knew why. Question number 5 is, what makes you better than the people who are running against you? Voters will expect you to answer that question. You know, and you really want to, because otherwise you kind of leave them to go figure it out. And you know what? There's a limit to the amount of time they'll spend trying to figure that out. So it's incumbent upon you to make the answer to that question crystal clear, black and white. salt and pepper, because the clearer you can make that contrast with your opponent, the easier it will be for voters to make their decision. Now, there are a plethora of ways that you can compare yourself to your opponent. You can answer that question in a myriad of ways. Is your biography, is it better suited you to do the job that you're running for than the biography of the person you're running against? Is there a difference in the moral code between you and your opponent? Are there things about his moral code you know that would rub people the wrong way? Do you have policy differences? Do you have differences over the philosophy of government? Do you have differing positions on issues of your time? All of those are legitimate ways to differentiate yourself from your opponent. So we've talked about what you're going to do for voters. We have talked about your moral code and your values. We have talked about your qualifications. We've talked about how you answer that question. How do I know I can trust you? We've talked about how you contrast yourself with your opponent. This is just a start. Now, I got to be candid with you. Those are the elements of a message. Those are a few tips on how you answer those questions. Here is what I can't tell you. I don't know your jurisdiction. I don't know the office you're running for. I don't know who you're running against. I don't know the demographics of your district. So therefore, crafting a message that is just right for you is impossible for me because I don't know that stuff. However, I have a solution. There's an online course that is available. I wrote it, I produced it, that helps you figure this out on your own. Exactly how, given your circumstances, your jurisdiction, your opponent, how you craft a compelling campaign message. You can watch this on your own time. It comes with videos, it comes with emails, it comes with handouts, it comes with worksheets. Everything you need to know to craft a compelling message. I am so sure of the value of this course that I offer a full money-back guarantee if you are not completely satisfied with it. It costs you no money to look. It is invaluable to you if you invest in the course.